It's been a while, quite a while. We had to wait for some rain to come so we could break down those giant chunks of the topsoil and hardpan that we did when we deep ripped. So we had to wait for some rain. So we waited a few weeks. We were able to disc it down right after that rain. And then we came out with the land plane and land planed it all out. Now we are out marking where the rows are going to go. So I'll show you what the tractor's doing. Head out there. So I'm going to let's head out and we'll see the tractor doing its thing, marking these lines. It was all done by GPS, and those roads are perfectly straight. So as you can see right there, he doesn't even touch the steering wheel. It's all auto steered by the GPS. That way we have perfectly grid laid out orchards. All he has is just like almost some spring tooth shovels that are going along, and he can pull up each individual shovel. That way if he gets to a corner or something like that, he can lift it up. Yeah, so we're going to be planting our orchard north to south. Right now we're looking east to west, and they're marking east to west. The reason they're doing the east to west markings first is because when we do the lines marking where the tree rows are going to go this way, we're actually going to be pulling the berms for the tree rows. So we want to have these lines down before we do those ones, so we're not driving through those berms that we pull up. The reason why we do a cross pattern grid like this, why he's marking back and forth, is so that every time one of these lines crosses where the berms goes, that's where a tree's going to go. Right now there's actually only 7 feet difference between this row and this row. The reason we're going to do that is you can see over here with our neighbor's orchard, if I look straight on, you can see right here there's a tree and a tree. The next row over, there's a tree in between them, and then they're kind of staggered. And the reason that we plant them offset like that is so that they can grow better. Gives them more room to grow, allows more sunlight. So if you actually look at it, when you look and it's this perfect line like that, it's actually at an angle. And so what they do is those rows that they're marking, why they're only doing every 7 feet, because our row spacing is going to be 14 feet apart, is that they will know that every other row they'll put a tree there. So I'll let you guys kind of figure that out. You'll see it better when we actually go to plant.
is planting day. So we got our trees delivered, about 17,300 trees or so. So this one is the Aldrich. We got the two varieties that we're going to be putting in our orchard. So we got the Aldrich variety and the nonpareil variety. We're going to start planting with the Aldrich variety. They just come in these bundles, and so they're marked with this red paint at the bases, so it's, you know, that they're the Aldrich. They come in these bundles and got the roots, and they have these already all soaked, because you got to keep the roots wet. Give them a good soak, the roots a good soak. Toss them in the trailer, and then we'll head these out to the planter. So we're using our new tractor to pull the trailer to load the trees up. Every other line is because those other lines is every other row. So that row that's next to us right there is a different variety, and it'll be planted on that other line. So we'll actually have like a diamond pattern. Rise up over the riser, irrigation riser, back down. Just like that, this is the last row. Our planting will be done. Well, so now that we've finished up the mechanical planting, we'll go through, because the mechanical planting, all it really does is it kind of just throws the tree into the ground, which is obviously what we're trying to do, but it doesn't really like pack it down, get it straight, get it ready. So we have a crew out here, and so what they're doing is they're going along and they're making sure that they pack down around the roots, make sure it's nice and solid. They're making sure that the graft, because this is where we graft, so this is the almond tree, and then right here it was grafted onto a peach rootstock. The reason we grafted onto a peach rootstock, that peach rootstock just has a stronger foundation. It protects more against like soil-borne diseases and things like that compared to the almond rootstock. So with that graft, we want it facing this way, and they're going to lean the trees this way because our prevailing winds come from the northwest and head southeast. And so you want the tree leaning that way. And so that's why the graft is aiming that way as well. Then they're coming along and they're also pruning off all of the branches and then cutting it at the height that we want the base of our tree, so like the crotch of the tree. This is where all the scaffolds are going to grow out of. And so they measure, and so they marked all their shovels at 34 inches. So then they can just come and flip their shovel over. It shows where it's at. They snip it, and then they're good to go. And so the reason we have it at that height, so that we can have enough room for like the shaker to come in when they're ready to shake and be able to do it. So that's what they're all out doing. And then once they get them pruned up a bit and get a long ways, then they'll go and they put the cartons on. And the cartons are mainly for protecting against rodents and herbicides when we spray, like weed sprays and stuff like that, bugs. And then we'll have those cartons on for probably a year or so. And then we'll go through and take all those cartons off. You want to talk about hard workers. Sometimes the farmers will get, you know, oh, we work so hard as farmers. No, these are the guys who work hard, these guys and gals out here. So they're out here putting the sprinklers in. So right now we're putting them close to the tree, and you've got this, we call them spaghetti tube. So we got this smaller spaghetti tube that'll hook into this line, and we've got the sprinkler close to the tree right now because right now the roots are only right here. They're not all the way out into the centers of the rows yet. And so because of that, we have actually on this sprinklers this little purple tab right here. So for the first couple of years, we'll keep that tab on, and it sprays it so the water just stays concentrated right here. After a couple of years, when the roots are starting to grow out into here, we'll come out with the crew and we'll pop off that tab. Not this white one, this purple one right here. We'll pop off that purple tab, and then that'll allow the water to go into a bigger fan, about a 13-foot fan. And so it's going to get out into the middles there for the roots.